In example 4, we're going to be looking at graphing translations. Our directions tell us to graph the image of the figure using the translation given. Then what they've given us is the translation rule, which is 1 unit left and 4 units right. And then they've given us some points here. Point E, which is at -1, -3. Point F, which has coordinates of 0, 1. G, which is supposed to be at 4, -1. And then H, which is going to be at 2, -3. Then over to the right, we're given a blank graph. So what we're to do in this problem is we're first to go ahead and graph our pre-image, which is the original image in its original location. And then they want us to translate that image or to move it in the coordinate plane, 1 unit left and then 4 units up. And that new location in that figure that we're going to draw is going to be known as our image. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to graph these points. So I have point E, which is at -1, 3. So -1 means I go 1 to the left, and then -3 means I go 3 down. So 1, 2, 3. And there's going to be a point right there that I'm going to label as point E. Now, my next point that I have is F, which is at 0, 1. So 0 means I go neither left nor right, but I go up 1. So I'm going to have a point right here, and I'm going to label that as point F. My third point, which is G, is going to be at 4, -1. So I start back at the origin again. The first number, 4, is positive, so that means I go 4 to the right. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go -1, which means -1 down. So I have a point here, and that's going to be point G. And then my fourth and final point is H. So I start back at the origin. It says 2. That means I go 2 to the right. And then I go -3, which means 3 down. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to have a point right here. And that's going to be labeled as H. Now, from here, what I'm going to do is try to draw in some lines that connect my point. So I have E to F. I have a line that connects F to G. I have another point that connects H to G, and then I have another point that goes from E to H. And then what I have here is this quadrilateral that I'm going to call quadrilateral EFGH. Now, that's going to be known as my pre-image there in red. Now, I'm going to apply my translation rule to this pre-image, and it says I'm going to be moving 1 unit left and 4 units up. So I need to take one of these points. It doesn't matter which one I take. I'm going to take, say, point F, and I'm going to go 1 unit left. So I go 1 to the left, and then I go 4 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have a point here, which I'm going to label as F prime. Now, from here, you have a choice. You can either move this point for point, or what you can do is you can move this per segment. Okay, so if you did it per segment, what you would do is you would see how you move from F to G, and then recreate that on your new image up here. You could do the same from G to H, and then from H to E. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in a point by point. So what I'm going to do is every point on my pre-image, I'm going to use that translation rule, and I'm going to make my new point. So from G, I'm going to go 1 to the left and then 4 up. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a point right here. I'm going to label that as G prime. I'm going to go to my next point here, which is H. I'm going to go 1 to the left. Then I'm going to go 4 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This new point right here in blue, I'm going to label as H prime. And then my fourth and final point here at E, I'm going to move 1 to the left. Then I'm going to go 4 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be E prime. Now from here, I'm going to do just like I did with my pre-image. I'm going to draw in lines to connect between my points. And then whenever I finish that, that's going to be my translated image. And that is all that they needed me to do in this problem to solve.